Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning in the southeast corner of the map, playing in blue, we've got Beastyqt playing as the House of Lancaster. And battling against them today, spawning in the northwest in red, we've got Corvinus 1 playing as the Abbasid dynasty. Welcome everyone to highview. As always, hope you're all having a great morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And by the way, this is a new and improved highview, as you'll just see in just a moment. There's an abandoned outpost. Essentially, this gives you a lot more vision. Of course, vision on highview is not so great. A lot of the stealth forest obscures much of the map, and so having these abandoned outposts is actually quite nifty if you can get hold of them. Of course, we'll be taking you along for a ride today with the new House of Lancaster versus the Abbasid dynasty. What's kind of interesting, a couple of changes have happened to the Abbasids in particular, mostly revolving around trade. They've got traders now that have camels, essentially moving faster but with reduced health, and I believe the resource income has been reduced as well. In fact, yes, it has. It's been reduced by 12%. What's kind of curious to see is whether trade can be an option for them, especially considering House of Lancaster is slowly developing as a civilization, which is very campy, doesn't really get out early. In fact, they actually build defensive landmarks often to the feudal age, and then look to get manors and boom up, just similar to sort of the Malians and their cow boom. It gives a lot of room, a lot of potential for a trade wing opening for the Abbasid dynasty. Of course, the Abbasid dynasty can do plenty of other things, second town centers often in their nature, courtesy of the Fertile Crescent upgrade, making the town centers cheaper if you go for the economic wing, but also fresh foodstuffs, making the villagers cost a lot less food also. Remains to be seen what this will pan out as, and I've been enjoying the new DLC. I hope you guys have been too, in terms of at least watching the games. I think by the time this is up on YouTube, the DLC may be available for you. If not, then it'll be in the coming days. But yeah, I mean, I feel like House of Lancaster is certainly a strong civilization. I'm sure the players will start to figure out how they can stop it. We will see if Corvinus is going to be able to do that today with the Abbasid dynasty. And in fact, it will actually be the trade wing for the Abbasids today, so really looking to leverage and at least test out the new change for them. It unlocks armoured caravans, which is actually kind of interesting because it's going to be able to give an extra 3 armour to the traders. Kind of handy considering their recent nerf to their HP from 90 to 60. I know the overlay kind of obscures that a little bit, but it says grant plus 3 armour to traders and trade ships. The other side of things, Beastyqt going up with the Lancaster Castle. No real surprises there. It's a very important landmark for them. I think it synergizes so well with their economic powerhouse, the manor, and the fact that it gives it arrow slits, increases the HP of it. And if you're going to be greedy, well, not only is this a castle, essentially, a defensive landmark, you're able to draft in military units depending on the number of manors you have. So if you're caught in a pinch, maybe being a bit too greedy, press the magic button and you have some units at your disposal. In fact, to be honest, even if you're not at a pinch, you're going to end up using it anyway. Now, I would like to just mention a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Special shout out, of course, to the YouTube channel members and the Twitch subscribers. Thanks for your extra support. And I would have one humble request. If you have been enjoying the content on the channel, last couple of videos maybe, make sure that you have given the video a thumbs up. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm side of things. More importantly, though, if you're looking to keep up with casted games, then I'd really recommend subscribing. More importantly, hitting the notification bell so you get a bit of a ding-dong when I do upload the next video. And you can see already the abandoned outpost is something that players are looking to get hold of for the extra vision, and the markets are now being put down by Corvinus for the Abbasids. Kind of curious to see how much resources you'll be getting. 17 per trip, not all that much. I mean, I think that's probably because it's spawned from the House of Wisdom, so that will correct itself when it goes actually to the market. But the big thing is, of course, so you're getting a lesser amount each trip, but the point is that they're camels now, so they move a lot faster. So you're getting less, but more often and a lot quicker. And in some ways, that's quite nice because it allows the resources to come in a bit quicker. It's not as greedy in a sense because you can actually start pumping out units a little bit quicker with the income that you get. Of course, in the long term, I mean, there's probably some sort of calculations done in that. I'm not sure if it's an overall nerf because you've got the quicker movement speed, but the reduced income. So I actually don't know how it works out with the numbers. I'm sure someone will crunch the numbers as to whether it's an overall nerf or not in terms of amount of gold income. Either way, it's going to be double market production. And the manors are starting to pop out now for the House of Lancaster. We have seen some nifty strategies. Just go for the massive amount of manors you can go for. Pump out units here by clicking a quick Q, giving you 2 demi-lancers and an additional 1 for each manor. Now gold is in a forward position, so that could come into play if, I'm not sure about the times. I don't think the House of Lancaster can really muster much of an army to deny a castle age, but we'll see. I mean, ultimately, trade means that gold should be pretty in good supply for the Abbasids today. See the trade numbers starting to really escalate. Now with the archery range, it looks like it's probably going to be a camel archer opening for the Abbasids. Add in a couple of horsemen too. Pretty nice opening in terms of army composition. I mean, ultimately, the House of Lancaster in this scenario aren't really at a push to do anything, right? It's a really weird dynamic with the House of Lancaster because it's a scenario where if you're going up against them, you don't really want them to get away for free with the booming of the manors. Unless you're booming yourself. The question is, can anyone match them? Today we're obviously testing the Abbasid dynasty, whether their trade can match the boom. At the same time though, the kind of big problem is if you do go for an all-in push against them, I mean, look at it. You're up against a Lancaster castle, you're up against a manor, well, several manors, which have got a whopping 1,450 HP on them, and they also have arrow slits courtesy of this landmark. It's kind of crazy, and of course they've got the magic button. Gives them units. It's really hard to kill them off. Now granted, whilst they are the English variant civilization, they don't get access to the network of castles bonus or the early warning system, but still, get the feeling that the Lancaster castle and the manors are more than enough. Walls are coming up here to partially defend the trade. That's another thing to think about, that whilst this economy is scaling very nicely for Corvinus, his economy is exposed, right? It's something he has to defend actively on the map, whereas Beasty's economy is very, very secure. It's another big deal with the House of Lancaster in the sense that if you want to do economy damage against them, you're up against taking out buildings. You're up against, for example, against the Marlies, you're up against taking out the cows. It's a lot harder than taking out stray villagers. Speaking of which, one thing that's very good at taking down buildings are, of course, siege units, in particular rams at this stage of the game, which the Abbasid dynasty can get without needing siege engineering. It's one part of their civilization bonuses, so we'll see if that features in. So it's going to be 47 gold per trip, but of course, because of the fast movement speed of these trade caravans, the trips are made significantly quicker. One little update as well with the user interface, as you can see on the top left, you've got the Golden Age tiers being visible. Lots of really nice improvements and changes for Age of Empires 4 in this new DLC. Pretty excited to see where it takes us. Going for even more manors now, holy moly. It's got 9 in total, which indeed is actually the max you can get. There is certainly a limit, of course. So Castle Age going to be coming in soon for the Abbasids, but no way to speed it up, right? It's just going to take the full minute and 45 seconds. Going to go for the Culture Wing, which will give him access to preservation of knowledge, and obviously cheaper technologies. Maybe even it would give you a cheaper tech up to the Imperial Age as well if we get there. Adding in a second stable and 2 archer ranges means that probably horsemen, camel archers, which would be nice, to go up against the demi-lancers. Bear in mind as well, the traders do actually get the debuff. They are camels after all, so they do cost. I mean, they do give the camel Arnese, which is a 20% reduction in damage from the demi-lancers here. Still, having said all that, Corvinus needs some units. He's got 0 so far. Beasty's got 9, and it's again all courtesy of the Lancaster Castle. Going to be the King's College to go to the next age for the House of Lancaster. Give him access to cheaper technologies, and also some unique ones too. The big problem for Corvinus is that he's starting to lose some of his economy. It is proving to be hard to protect. It looks like production has started now, though, with the camel archers, but it's going to need to size them up and just try and get a good number of them before we can really engage. So the demi-lancers are hiding in the stealth forest, waiting to pounce. Now what's good about the situation for the House of Lancaster as well, like they've got 3 units essentially with the button, but it also gives them time to assess what his enemy's going for, right? So now that Beasty knows the Abbasid is going for camel archers, wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of stables. Maybe I was thinking maybe archery ranges, but he's going for stables instead, so going to use the mobility, and it kind of makes sense on this map high view where mobility is quite key. He can just go for knights, which of course is a little bit problematic long term, going up against camel archers, but in the short term it's probably fine. Of course, Corvinus doesn't have a mass of them anyway, so charging on through, if Beasty can keep the camel numbers down, it won't be so much of a problem. Trying to get an outpost here, and it probably will go up as well actually. I mean, there's just not enough units for Corvinus just yet. The trade is taking too long to pay off. Villager is being pushed back. It will survive most likely. Or it could be close actually. No, unfortunately the outpost got in the way of the camel archer. Camel archer will chase it down. Probably will snipe it in the end. If he can get the shot off. Hello? Oh, just misses it. Beasty keeps the villager alive, would you believe? Very nicely done. The numbers are crazy for Beasty. He's pumping out from all 3 stables. Now that he's in the castle age, could potentially think about getting the relics too. He's able to trade to the other trade post, but the distance isn't great. So yeah, 11 gold per trip is just not so good. And ultimately what this comes down to is the fact that the House of Lancaster's economy is not really harassable. Having said all that, the question is really whether Beasty's doing enough damage, because when you've got this number of traders, they're still making the journey, right? So they're still gathering the gold. And one other thing to think about is, well, because each trader is carrying less gold, essentially, you lose them. It's not as big an impact on your economy. Knights still popping out for Beasty. There's definitely a focus on this side of the map. Beasty managed to get the outpost up for the extra vision. Going to get arrow slits too, so it does pose a bit of a problem for Corvinus, right? Because he did... he's going for a lot of camel archers. It has got camel riders now, because he needs a way to torch down the outpost if he can. No infantry to build the rams. So he's going to need to rely on probably the camel riders and their torch damage. You can see Beasty has just 1 goal at the moment. Just needs to focus on this right side, deny the trade as much as possible. And it'll put him in a good spot. Map control, certainly in favour of Beasty. He's got one of the vision outposts here. Could potentially take the other one too. But for now, he's focusing on the trade, and rightly so. Going around the back, this is a bit problematic. He's got walls on the left side, Corvinus, but these knights have just gone all the way around. And bear in mind as well, now that he's got to the castle age, these demi-lancers, they upgrade automatically to veteran units. It's kind of crazy, right? You've got 3 units, and they automatically upgrade with you too. And you can tell 20 military units for Beasty. I mean, let's take a look at the income per minute. It's so solid for the House of Lancaster. It's certainly less than what Corvinus has, but over time it just feels like Corvinus is bleeding economic units. Certainly feels like Beasty's got the wind in his sails. Camel riders are chasing. Now eventually it does feel like Beasty needs to make a switch, and he's got something he could potentially go for. It's going to be infantry. Still pumping out with the stables though for now. No reason to change things just yet. Now relic wise, 1 is coming in. I suspect more will be on the way soon for Beasty. One thing to think about as well is food transitions. This is something really important to talk about when you head in towards the 20-minute mark of the game usually. A lot of civilizations have, certain dependency on food and certain types of food. You can get food from many different ways. Professional scouts on the deer. English farms are cheaper, so their transition is a bit nicer and easier, as is the case with the Byzantines. The Abbasids, though, is a bit of an awkward one. Their food eco is orientated about needing less, really, for villager production. There's going to come a time when the Abbasids are going to need a farming transition. When that happens, it's going to pose them a bit of a problem. The tempo with their army production will take a massive kicking. The same cannot be said for the House of Lancaster. Their food economy is all very well and good and set up already with the manors, so even if he does lose villagers or he stops... I mean, how many villagers does he have on food? He's got 4 villagers on food, and it doesn't matter, because his quote-unquote farming transition is already in play in the form of the manor. It gets to the Imperial Age at an incredibly fast time, 15 minutes, and, you know, Corvinus is nowhere near that. He's gone up with the Wingard Palace, and this is such a crazy landmark in this situation as well. You can imagine 8 spearmen and 1 Earl's Guard for just 450 resources, and also the timing on it just doesn't take long at all. It's going to be 25 seconds for all those units. There is possibly some time for Corvinus to do some damage, but all Beasty really has to do is hold on. And he's going to be able to hold on really well in this situation because, I mean, ultimately what Corvinus is up against is the castle up against 9 manors. And, you know, even if he dives this, he can't take the structures down. So he's always fighting underneath this, and it's certainly a problem. I mean, granted, the arrow slits aren't amazing. I mean, to be fair, they'll do decent work against veteran camel archers. Not so much against the heavier camels in the form of the camel riders, but every little bit helps, and the longer that Corvinus fights underneath this, the worse that is for him, right? He's not being able to do any eco damage, really. He's killing some villagers underneath the town centre, but the heart of the economy is in the manor, so doing eco damage is rough. It feels good at the moment, the way it looks for Corvinus, but ultimately, the amount of damage he's doing is not... Well, although, to be fair, if he gets on this wood line, that might change. He does have a couple of units on it. He's keeping villagers idled, but a big thing about diving people's bases is really about keeping economy idled, and that's just not happening. Beasty's got 1 villager idled, certainly he's lost a few, but again, like if you think about the manors and what they offer, they're offering at the moment 61 food, which is roughly 2 villagers, 70 food, now it's roughly 2 villagers, 45 wood is just an extra villager, and 15 gold's not a lot, but I mean ultimately overall it's about 4 villagers per manor. You've got 9 manors. I'm not going to do the maths on live, but you can work it out, and so it really does, you know, bridge that deficit. Trade is certainly helpful here for Corvinus, but he's losing traders here, and there probably is a little bit more even. I mean, ultimately, whilst the manors are very good, there will be a need for Beastyqt to go back on food, and he's got the food in the form of the deer. One thing to mention as well, the fact that you have the manor means that your resources around your base in the form of the deer, the berries, or whatever it is, are going to last a lot longer, right? So even if you do need a farming transition as the House of Lancaster, it comes a lot later. And this is a big target here. Oh, this is going to be devastating. Okay, well, he's lost traders, but now he's losing villagers, and this is a big problem. Because it's more about the fact that food income is going to take a bit of a hit. I say a bit of a hit. A lot of a hit for Corvinus. Behind all of this tempo, Beasty's picked up 3 relics, or he's actually deposited 3 relics, he's picking up the other one too. Bear in mind, Corvinus is still stuck in the castle age, and we're at this weird position where it becomes very difficult for Corvinus to actually tech up to the next stage, because the moment he does, it's a big investment in resources. It means he has to stop producing army, which then means Beasty should have the front foot. In order to try and buy some breathing space, some time for the tech up to the next stage, it's going to be walls out for the Abbasids. They are palisades, so they're not going to hold on too strong. There's a massive raid here. And ultimately the camels will take care of this, but some villagers will go down, no doubt about it. And, I mean, to be fair, that was... Yeah, he lost a lot of army there, Beasty. It's probably worth it in the end, because he can... he's still got a good standing army to fight with. He's getting the upgrades in as well. Tithe barns. Can be really great for those relics to increase income. And all the eco upgrades coming in too. Upgrades to the spearmen as well. Bear in mind as well, I mean, you need less wood as production, right? Because Wingard Palace is essentially a production building for them. Now the trade will be secured for now, although the walls are technically, well, you know, not really covering the trade post, but it gives them a measure of security, at least for now. Oh dear. Okay, we talked about it earlier in the cast. We talked about food income, right? He's got a bit of deer left, but the berries have been expired. Of course, the berries do last a bit longer for the Abbasids, but taking a big fight, there's a lot of spearmen. I'm not so sure about this fight for Corvinus. He has got really good counter units here, Beasty, in the form of the spearmen. They have veteran spearmen, not elite, but still. He's got a couple of hand cannoneers too, which will do significant damage. Archers are focusing, the yeomen rather, are focusing on the cavalry archers. The spearmen just did so much work there. A couple of Earlsguard added into the mix as well. Hard to deal with. I mean, ultimately, Corvinus will clear this up, but at what cost? He lost a lot of military units there. I think if you're Beastie, you feel like it's a good trade for him. I mean, overall, this is yet another camel. Earlguard's pretty tanky. I think Corvinus wins the fight, but did he really get the better of it? That situation, I don't think so. Especially when you think about the income that's coming in. Being able to replace the army is going to be significantly easier for Beastie. Not only because he's got his farming transition in the form of the manor, but also cheaper production from the Wingard Palace. Meanwhile, Corvinus is going to run out of deer soon, and he will need farms. It's going to be costly on the wood. It's going to be costly on the ability to make army. Looks like he might be going for a bit of raid here on the right side, though. We'll keep an eye on these. Looks like he's going to go for some ranged units, understandably so. Could be mass yeoman. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be that. Adding in some siege too. Alright, well, not being able to raid too much, and looks like BC is just going to head on forward. Some elite upgrades are coming on in. And to get some of the sacred sites too. Why not? 4 relics and a couple of sacred sites. It's going to be difficult for Corvinus now. I think he's going to be needing some farms soon. That's not good timing. He has invested in some more markets, so traders are there. He's got a good number of economy units. But overall, the economy isn't that solid. Compared to his enemy, at least. And how do you deal with this army? Elite spearmen. Elite yeoman and siege. He's going to try and maybe snipe the siege. If he can at least take out a trebuchet or two, it might delay the push. That's what he's got to do. He's got to delay the push as much as possible. Maybe Springles could be a play, but he's going to need a sizable number of them before he takes a fight, and he's going to lose one already. The siege workshops being forward means that they're sniped. This is looking dangerous. I mean, VC's economy is in full whack now. 73 military versus 18. Sure, Corvinus has got a good villager to count, but he just needs time. I don't think time's on his side. Got plenty of gold income in, but not so much food. Some siege added in the form of the Ribaldican as well. And with the production buildings forward, he's looking dicey, right? Because he needs both wood for farms. He's going to need wood for replacing these buildings too. He's going to take the fight anyway. All camel archers peppered with arrows with the ability. The synchronized shot from the yeoman. The Ribaldican itching further forward. It's mainly camel archers, but they are being pushed back by spearmen. And ultimately it's allowing the trebuchet to get even more volleys of the rocks over. It's going to be hard for them to take out the siege here for the Abbasids. Has got a couple of springles now, which might help with some of the infantry, but there's just so much here. The Ribaldican are being focus fired, but it doesn't get rid of them entirely, so maybe a couple of more shots from them might do some big devastating damage. And it is, I mean, this is a problem for Corvinus, no doubt about it. It's down to 3 military. Sure, he's got Eco still alive, but every time he makes units that get peppered with arrows, Beastie just camping in front of his base. He's got all 3 sacred sites, so the timer has been started. He's going to get the all-important incendiary arrows, making the yeoman even stronger. And at this point, it looks like Beastie just going to go for the jugular vein. He's got the culverin as well to help take out these buildings. Farming transition is now coming on in, but this is a really rough time for that to be needed. Looks like the units are piling on forward for Beastie. Income is absolutely off the charts. Don't know if there's a way back here for Corvinus. He's holding on for now, but ultimately bear in mind there's only 2 landmarks for the Abbasids. So once the town centre goes down, it will then just be the House of Wisdom. Corvinus is in the Castle Age as well, don't forget. House of Lancaster economy is looking way too strong. Looks like trade even is not enough to keep up. See if there's anything else left in the purse strings for Corvinus, but food-wise, it looks like he's running on empty. Yeah, okay, there goes down the capital town centre. He's trying to muster forces for one last fight, but he's up against an Imperial Age army, and so looking really, really difficult. Peppering arrows on the villager wood line, and they are retreating. He's going to lose some stables too. Trying to repair the capital town center, build the forces. Oh, not for that synchronized shot. It doesn't kill any villagers, but takes a lot of HP off them. Lousy. Oh, maybe the synchronized shot will kill them. Yeah, this is way, way over, I think, for Corvinus. He's going to try and take one last fight, maybe with the Springalds, but the question is, how do you deal with this force that's coming in his face? Back at home, all he needs to keep doing, BC, is keep pumping out these units. I mean, he hasn't had to seed a single farm, has he? That's the crazy situation. He's still on the deer camp. A number of yeomen, a number of spearmen. Bear in mind, the spearmen are elite, and they do reduce enemy armor by 2. Corvinus unit numbers just not enough there. GG gets called. The House of Wisdom crumbles to the ground, and the Abbasid trade. Even that's not enough to keep up with the House of Lancaster. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.